all the dictators. Well, I never knew Franco. That was after time. When I was a Chicago Tribune man, Europe was in the hands of dictators. The thing to do is get an interview with the dictator, see? Well, I was Berlin correspondent of the Chicago Tribune, technically. Well, I was officially there for, say, 5 years, and then I was made roving correspondent for Eastern Europe with headquarters in Berlin for 5 more years. In other words, for 10 years I was headquarters in Berlin. I had a beautiful suite of rooms, Hotel Adlon and all that. And I quit in 1929 when my order for my first book was, and I had a book published and all that. And some years, even after I'd quit, I was sitting with a lot of newspaper people reminiscing about, we all had seen service in Berlin, and there was a man named Pierre Loving of the Hearst Service. He was then in the Washington Bureau of the Hearst Service. And I said, isn't it strange, Pierre, I've seen Hitler a dozen times. I've been to Nuremberg, to the great festival, you know, that this, what's her name? This, yes, that she, Reasons.
And Leni Riefenstahl.
Yes, that she choreographed. It was terrific. It was tremendous. He was wonderful, you might say, as a demagogue in those things. I said, and yet, despite the fact I went to Italy and saw Mussolini. I even saw Lenin. But here I am, 10 years in Germany, and I can't say I even met Hitler. And Pierre, looks at me and says, "You're crazy. We spent a whole night with Hitler, a whole evening with Hitler." And I said, I don't remember anything. He said, do you remember when the Baron von, whatever his name was, the German ambassador to the United States, Baron von something, gave a party in the Wilhelmstrasse, in the Foreign Office, for the leaders of the different parties, you know, communists, socialists, monarchists, all of them were there, various leaders, and the journalists of all countries. Were a couple of hundred people there. There were about 100 members of the Foreign Press Club, the Verein Ausländischer Journalisten zu Berlin. We were all there. He says, don't you remember that everybody was nice and cordial, and you talked to the different party leaders, but there was one sullen man sitting sort of all by himself, the man with the tiny mustache. Oh my, I said, all he says, guten Tag, guten Tag. When we came in, then we held out our hand, and he sort of gave you a limp little hand, says, guten Tag, and you went away. And that is all the man did, and he was so unnoticed that I would say to my great regret, although seeing him in action when he became this great leader and fascinated, or whatever he did, to millions of people, you know, and yet when he was this nobody, that's exactly what he was. In when was this? About 25. And